and or most of them they want the market salary. So that's on the hiring part. Talking about the investment, so we got two angel investments almost parallel to each other. One was equity and one was convertible. So advantage was that through that we didn't have to dilute too much, and so most of the equity, most of the money that we got was against convertible instruments, which will get converted when we do a Series A round. But yeah, so if you talk about my opinion regarding equity, it looks scientific, but I think it's more of an art. It depends on how much your investor is convinced about your idea, how passionate you are about your idea, and how ambitious you are. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Basically, most of the technology entrepreneurs are from a technical background, and they come up and plan to form a startup. And when building a product technically is pretty easy for them, but once the product is ready and it comes at the point to market it, that's the real difficult part that we have to face. So initially in the startup phase, what are your points that you can suggest in marketing?
So technology, so we have always kept it in-house, but slowly we are realizing that managing this technology infrastructure is not that easy. The good thing is that we didn't have to sell our technology or solution to anyone. So we were selling the auto rickshaw services. We were not developing this solution apart from traffic portal work. We were not developing this solution for other dial rickshaw, radio cab companies. So technology is important, but it's in-house, so it's very customized, and we change it almost every fortnight, I would say. But yeah, but going ahead, we need a lot of good techies in our company who would take care of the infrastructure, the load, the capacity, everything, the offering on various platforms, making sure that the user experience is uniform across all the platforms. It would be important.
And marketing.
So we didn't have to market our technology. So though we are a technology firm.
Technology, but the business or your service, as a service, how you're branding it, how you're spending as a marketing.
So luckily auto rickshaw is such a big problem in Pune and in other parts of the country that the moment we start getting calls from reporters saying, okay, are you starting something? Are you the fool who is starting it? Let me interview you. So so media has been very nice to us. We have been covered by almost all the big newspapers, few news channels, so which was very motivating for us. And our customer acquisition cost has been very low because of that. And I would encourage all the entrepreneurs to mainly work very well on the PR because it saves a lot of money. Otherwise, billboards are very expensive. We still can't do that. Second is that if we clearly know, as an entrepreneur, if we clearly know this is our market segment, and if we target that particular specific geography through Google AdWords or other places, then we can keep the cost low. I think we picked the problem where there was a huge gap, so we were lucky.
Can you share your experience regarding the training part of the auto drivers? You had to do some training onto the auto drivers, right?
We had to. We still do. We still do.
Can you share some experience?
Sure. So when we started, there was a driver, very honest. So we have a background verification process for drivers. So they have to comply to all the documentation, rules, regulation. We also check whether we come from he has a family, he should not be no background kind of a person. So there are a few drivers who qualify all the parameters, but they are with an innocent face, they are I don't know how to use a cell phone.
Okay.
So they just know how to use a green button or a red button, but they don't know how to read an SMS, how to respond to an SMS. So we started with that training, which was very well received by the drivers. That was our starting point. Then we started conducting English-speaking lessons for our drivers, which they still feel happy about. At times, in early stages, they used to wish us in a very funny manner, but slowly they are getting better at it. And from that level, we have moved to more of a behavioral training, if there is this situation, then how you behave. And we keep collecting feedback from the customer. Based on that, we keep doing refresher trainings on that.
Related question to what this gentleman asked. How tech savvy your auto walas are now? Do they just need to read the SMS or Have you taken them to the next level with some sort of technology? Because it makes
how are
them
they using the
easier.
app today? Right?
So actually, as I said, like there are different drivers from different backgrounds. There are few drivers. For example, when we were featured on ET Now for the first time, there was one driver who came to us. He said, "अपना interview मुझे pen drive में दे दीजिए." Like so I was kind of shocked, right? So that guy came with a pen drive. Please transfer it on this. So from that level to a driver who doesn't know SMS. So there are different drivers who have different understanding or different comfort with technology. So that's the challenge with our platform, and we constantly work on that. We have drivers who still interact with us through the IVR. There are drivers who still interact with us through SMS. There are drivers who are like smart who have Android phones. They interact with us through Android phones. So we have different channels because we don't define one rule, because by doing that we are creating a bottleneck for drivers to join us. If we say that you have to have an Android phone to join us, then only drivers who are like 20 to 30 age group would join, which may or may not be good for our service. So we have drivers from different age group. The way we treat our drivers is no different than the way we treat our family members, right? So when I interact with my father regarding technology, I have a different understanding of different way of explaining it. And when I discuss with my friend's kid, who is better than me at those gadgets, so that's the same thing. There's the same psychology that we use with drivers as well. And we open all the platforms for them.
You have done a good job with PR. So what advice would you give us, whether to do it ourselves or to use a PR agency?
So not just for PR, my advice is wherever you could save costs, save it. So PR, we have never appointed any PR agency. Luckily, because we picked a problem that was actually a problem. So media wrote about it, and also the first mover advantage. Now I think if someone starts another dial company, he may not get as much PR. But as long as possible, do it on your own. Do it on your own.
Build relationships with reporters. How do you?
So I'll tell you how we started. We got our first call from a reporter at a point when we didn't want to publish our story. So we were doing like beta testing, and at a very small level, like with like 200 friends in Pune. And suddenly we got a news call from a reporter of a very leading newspaper, and me and Mukesh were like nervous, this story will go out. Me and Mukesh were picking calls at that point of time. We can't handle it. So we had to kind of decline that story. And then there was a point when we wanted to publish the story, but we didn't have any contacts. That's when these networking things help. We chain reaction, right? So you contact one reporter, 3 reporters, 4 reporters. So we created a list of around 20, 30 reporters. We sent a bulk mail to all of them in respective language. If it's a Marathi newspaper, then we did that. And I guess 2 or 3 of them got covered. What we realized with PR is that if you publish a story like as a ration, then they won't publish it. But if you want to, you have to give exclusive story to each and every media agency, and that's what we learned with time. That you do something good, you connect with one journalist, he or she would write an absolutely nice story, because everyone wants exclusivity. The way you want exclusivity for your company, they also want exclusivity for their.
So I have 2 questions. So the first question is, how large is the team? And second, as you mentioned that you've managed to raise 2 rounds of funding. So at 5 million autos in India, how large is the market? I mean, how large should a market be for you to be able to entice an investor?
So talking about team, there was a point of time when we were running in Pune and Bangalore, and we were, I guess, overstaffed. At that point we had 50 members. Now we are currently like 23, 24 member team based in Pune, and that includes everything: call center, technology, marketing, operations, everything. So we plan to expand, and we want like techies, operations manager, like people with different backgrounds to join us and then expand. Talking about the market size, that is something that no one believes when we talk about it. When we talk to investors, they think that we are lying. And when we start validating, putting numbers in front of them, when we start putting more zeros, one more zero, they are amazed. So talking about Pune, it's a $250 million annual market, just in Pune. Talking at a pan-India level, it's a $10+ billion market just in India. And there are auto rickshaws in other Asian countries as well. So it's a huge market. But yeah, having said that, we can't, we as in like